Hi, this is Dr. Sujata, and we are all meeting in this sixth module of the Municipal Solid Waste Management. In this video, we are going to look upon the topics such as source reduction, waste storage, and recycling. Let me tell you the overview of this video. So, it includes waste management hierarchy, source reduction, on site storage methodology, then what is the effect on storage, then what are the materials that can be used to store the waste that is generated. So these are all the topics which I'm going to cover in this video. See, any process, any management with respect to the solid waste should start from segregation. So this uh, strategy has been insisted in the previous videos also. So without segregation, when you want to go to the treatment process, so this treatment process will not be effective. So the segregation of the solid waste is very important. So to start with, the management of the solid waste segregation is very important, which will take care of the public health as well as the economic aspect of the open storage. Then we are going to see some of the case studies in Indian conditions in this video, and recycling of plastic, construction and demolition waste. When you take the various R's, there are some following options. There are some strategy which R must be in the top of the inverted pyramid, which must be concentrated in a very large manner. So this slide is showing you reduce R. First R, that is reduced, must be on the top. Next we must come to reuse, repair, recycle, recover, and finally we'll go to the T, that is dispose. So the person who are involved in management of the solid waste will follow this hierarchy, will lead to greater impact towards the environment as well as the human health. Reduce, recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, and dispose. So the most desirable R is the reduce and least desirable the dispose. Actually, what do you mean by source reduction? We have to stop the generation of the waste before it starts actually. So before discarding any waste, when we start reducing the waste that is to be generated, automatically all the further coming processes, forthcoming processes will be very efficient, and the cost involved in building those infrastructure will be also economical in nature. So this source reduction must be given utmost importance above all ours. So source reduction is known as the waste prevention or pollution prevention. It is actually the elimination of the waste before it is created. It involves design, manufacture, purchase, or use of materials and products to reduce the amount of toxicity of what is thrown away. So the source reduction means stopping waste before it happens. To be specific or to be precise, source reduction means stopping the waste before it happens. So waste reduction actually aims to reduce the environmental pollution by minimizing the generation of the waste. It includes there are some strategies, there are some methodology which can be implemented to reduce the waste before it generates. We must modify the industrial processes to reduce the amount of waste residue. So then changing the raw materials, recycling or reusing the waste resources. So if at all we are following any one of the methodology which is shown here, then we will be end up with a reduced waste. We can't say that completely the waste generation can be reduced, but to some extent we can reduce the amount of waste. There are seven types of manufacturing waste that is existing, which a company can concentrate to reduce the waste. So waste of transport, waste of inventory, waste of motion, and we have waste of waiting and waste of over fraction. So when the manufacturing industry concentrate on these waste, then automatically the waste generated can be reduced. Then let us see the effective ways to reduce the manufacturing waste. Efficient inventory management, reducing packaging materials, volume reduction, then recover, resort, and reuse, and establish a preventive maintenance schedule, label and organize the warehouse properly. Adopt a closed loop manufacturing system, minimize the water usage. What are the source reduction techniques? First of all, the waste must be measured. Measuring the source reduction and its impact is absolutely necessary. Then we must pay attention to the packaging aspects. We must avoid over packaging and under packaging also. So over packaging or using disposable packaging can increase the total waste produced by the company. Then selective purchasing is very important. Then policy changes must be implemented and the equipment must be made better by having a regular maintenance. The equipment which is used for manufacturing a product can be kept in a better manner. Then coming after this reduce, we have reuse and recycle. So what is reuse? Reuse is the action or the practice of using an item whether for its original purposes or to fulfill a different function. So it doesn't mean that a product can fulfill for what it has been entered into the market. It can also fulfill various functions which is not intended to it. It should be distinguished from recycling, which is that is reuse must be distinguished from the recycling, which is the breaking down of used items to make raw materials for the manufacture of the new products. That is actually recycle. Whereas reuse is we are not going to change anything, the discarded material, we're just using it as it is. Then, why do we go for this reuse? Reusing products cuts down the manufacturing pollution just as the use of the recycle instead of raw materials prevents pollution in industrial process and thereby it also reduces the depletion of the original resources available on the earth and eventually the sustainability will be there in the reuse process. Then what are the items that can be reused? Building materials can be reused. Office furnitures, supplies like cabinets, then credenzas, shelving units, and computers, electronics, art materials can be reused. Even medical equipment and supplies, surplus food items and equipment, and household items. Then comes recycling. So this recycle definition we have seen already under the topic recycle the demarcation between the recycle and the reuse. So now we'll see the exact definition of the recycle. To treat or process the used or waste material so as to make suitable for its reuse. Recycling is a process of converting the waste materials into new materials and objects. So the raw materials which we are going to use to produce a product will be fetching from the waste material. So The recyclability of the material depends on its ability to reacquire the properties it had in its original state. We try to reacquire its original properties. Let us see the history of the recycle. In the pre-industrial time itself, there is evidence of scrap, bronze, and other metals being collected in Europe and melted down for continuous reuse. Paper recycling was first recorded in 1031 when Japanese shops sold repulped paper. In Britain, dust and ash from wood and coal fires was collected by dustmen and downcycled as a base material used in brick making. In 1813, Benjamin Law developed the process of turning rags into shoddy and mungo wool in Batley, Yorkshire. This material combined the recycled fibers, the virgin wool. Actually, the recycled fibers combined with the virgin wool to make a very good product. Industrialization actually spurred the demand for affordable materials. Aside from rags, whereas scrap metals were converted as they were cheaper to acquire than virgin ore. Many secondary goods were collected, processed, and sold by peddlers who secured, who stored dumps and city streets for discarding the machinery, parts, pans, and other sources of metals. In World War One, thousands of such peddlers roamed the streets of the American cities. They are actually taking advantage of the market forces to recycle the post-consumer material back into the industrial production. Beverage bottles has been collected and it is refundable deposit at some drink manufacturers in Great Britain in the year 1800, and it also happened in Ireland. An official recycling system with a refundable deposit was established in Sweden in the year 1884 and aluminum beverage cans in 1982 in Sweden itself. This law led to a recycling rate of beverage containers from 84 to 99%, depending on type and a glass bottle that can be refilled over 20 times on average. Recyclable materials includes many kinds of glasses, papers, cardboards, metal, plastic, tires, and whatnot. So there are varieties of recycling that exist in the environmental engineering world. They are waste paper and cardboard. In recycle, plastic recycling is there, metal recycling is there, in waste electronic devices recycling is there, wood recycling, plastic recycling, metal, then glass, then we have clothing and textile, bricks and inert waste recycling. So whatever the waste that we are generating can be recycled, but many of us don't know the waste which we are discarding or disposing into the dustbin can be recycled. So I think this module 6 has given some inputs about the reuse, recycling and reducing the waste that is generated by everyone. Thank you very much.